Your Excellency, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, Honourable Ministers, Excellencies, Heads of Delegation, Diplomatic Missions, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the World Bank Group, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this first Africa Open Data Conference. Mr. President, we at the World Bank feel very honoured to co-host this event with the Tanzanian government, a government which has been one of the pioneers of open data on the continent of Africa. As you know, governments across the world are changing the way they look at data. Data are no longer just a topic of interest for statisticians. Data is becoming relevant for all parts of government that want to measure progress and demonstrate the results they achieve. This conference is therefore very timely. At the historic summit on the Sustainable Development Goals, which will be held later this month in New York, world leaders will gather to reflect on the global priorities that guide our development, including data. In preparing for this summit, 2 years ago, a panel of high-level experts, which included many heads of state, concluded that what was needed to achieve these Sustainable Development Goals was nothing short of a data revolution, the same data revolution that we're talking about in this conference. A true data revolution, they said, would draw on existing and new systems of data to fully integrate statistics into decision-making, promote open access to and use of data. Nowhere is the data revolution more important than in Africa, the continent that is experiencing the fastest development changes in population, in urbanization, and in economic development. African leaders already met in March this year in Ethiopia and established the Africa Data Consensus and agreed on a vision. And they described their vision as a partnership for all data communities that upholds the principles of official statistics as well as openness across the data value chain, which creates a vibrant data ecosystem, providing timely, user-driven and disaggregated data for public good and inclusive development. Open data is a simple but powerful idea. In the 21st century, we live in digital lives, surrounded by information technology from television, radio, mobile phones, computers. Information is power. But too often, information is useful only to an elite. Few researchers, companies, institutions, those who have the access and the tools to use data. Sometimes it is because data is only in paper form and you need to know where to go and who to ask. Sometimes the data are locked behind passwords or in hard-to-use formats. And that is why governments increasingly recognize that if they hold data meant for the public, then these data should be accessible to all citizens equally. These governments are investing to make public data easy to find, easy to download, and free to use. Open data is therefore not just about releasing data, but about making good data available and user-friendly. But ensuring this good supply of data is a challenge. Without the evidence and measurement that data makes possible, designing effective public policies and investments to improve the lives and future prospects of poor families is difficult at best and much less likely to succeed. Data deprivation is one of the overlooked dimensions of poverty. This is especially so in Africa. In the year 2000, only 36 out of 54 African countries had carried out a census. By 2010, this number had increased to 50, but still most of that data is not publicly available today. So only 10 of these countries actually make their census data available on open data portals to date. Mapping and local information is also critical data. Africa has only 3% of its area available in local maps, compared to 87% now for Europe. In many African countries, there is no address database as yet that allows efficient home deliveries and therefore the growth of e-commerce. These are all challenges that can be addressed. The World Bank, recognizing that the constraints that data weaknesses can have on development, have been rapidly expanding our support. The World Bank Group has established programs to preserve and disseminate microdata from household surveys in over 70 countries. We've also established the Open Data for Development program to help countries develop policies and tools to enable the publication of data using open standards. In fact, the World Bank is releasing its own data more and more about Africa. The World Bank Open Data Catalog contains over 200 Africa-related data sets and well over 10,000 indicators. The public can visit data.worldbank.org to access them, and you can also see this data appear in other applications. If you try Googling Tanzania GDP, the top results will be a chart of Tanzanian GDP compared to its neighbors. This data currently pulls directly from the World Bank Open Data portal. This is a great start and good to have. But the challenge is to transfer this capability to institutions like the National Statistics Office in Tanzania and similar institutions across Africa to ensure that the most reliable data are produced and available from the country of source. The challenge for us all is how to make that happen. To this end, Tanzania and His Excellency President Dr. Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete has shown leadership in Africa on open data. Tanzania was one of the first African countries to join the Open Government Partnership in 2012, together with South Africa, and has made important commitments to open data. Since then, Ghana, Liberia, Kenya, Sierra Leone, Malawi, and most recently, Tunisia, have all joined the Open Government Partnership. Under your leadership, President Kikwete, Tanzania has aligned its open data plans to its national development priority, Big Results Now. And I'm inspired by the exciting innovations that are taking place here in Tanzania. We saw them in the video. They're being discussed throughout the conference in the sectors of education, in health, in water, in generating urban street maps to promote flood resilience, among others. Looking across Africa, we can see that open data really is spreading. Today, 30% of the countries in the continent have at least one open data initiative. And open data efforts are emerging subnationally across Africa, for example, in Cape Town in South Africa, or Edo State in Nigeria, and many of the pioneers that are driving forward these initiatives are here at this conference today. We can see that data is truly becoming the fuel of the 21st century. Digital devices are surging across Africa. The UN estimates that 3/4 of Africans own a mobile phone today. The proportion is even higher among young adults. These phones are channeling to the internet, with over 50% of Ghanaians and 47% of Nigerians accessing the internet via their phone. And the app economy in Africa is driving forward, turning data into knowledge and creating badly needed jobs in the process. In Kenya, for example, M-Farm has become a successful business using open data by providing market information and linking buyers to farmers. And this has cut the numbers of farmers relying on middlemen in Kenya from 50% to just 6%. Meanwhile, the mobile money revolution in Africa is driving growth of digital markets and providing an edge for local firms to compete. Also in Kenya, where M-Pesa was a pioneer, over 13 million people now are active users of mobile money, and 70% of the population live within 5 kilometers of an agent. Last year in Kenya, transactions reached over $27 billion. But Tanzania is also fast emerging as the world's largest mobile money market. And this year, Tanzania overtook Kenya for total number of mobile money users and number of transactions, opening up promising market opportunities for data-driven firms and services here. 2 years ago, the first African News Innovation Challenge was launched with a $1 million prize of digital innovation in African news journalism. The prize attracted hundreds of entrepreneurs and funded 20 winning teams. Clearly, this is a continent on the move, embracing new technologies and leapfrogging old ones. There are still challenges to overcome, however. Africa has made huge strides, and the World Bank is proud to have supported the development of Africa's data infrastructure. The East and West African submarine cables have helped bring affordable broadband to urban areas, and the spread is increasing inland to rural areas, but extending access still remains a challenge. There remain barriers in reaching citizens in local languages and those who are not literate. But let me turn briefly, before I close, to the economic and governance benefits of open data. The direct annual economic value of governments opening up data has been estimated in 2 different studies as 40 billion euros throughout the European Union and close to £2 billion in the UK alone. In the United States, agriculture is only 2% of the economy, yet it accounts for around 10% of the total economic benefits of open data. In Africa, agriculture represents 15% of the economies. So you can see that if Africa can harness the same data-driven tools to its agriculture sector, the benefits could be enormous. Investing in open data also has value for effective governments. When public data sets are accessible, they provide the raw material for government and business applications that can improve lives through better services and improved accountability. In this respect, public procurement can play a major role. Around 10% of African GDP is public procurement. And one participant here from the University of Nairobi, Dr. Bitange Ndemo, estimated that Kenya could save up to $1 billion annually by getting procurement online, and with open data prompting public scrutiny. I'm pleased to see Dr. Ndemo here among our experts, and we look forward to learning more from him. Finally, the African Data Consensus is a call for partnership. There is a popular proverb which says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. The World Bank is honored to be able to support the first African Open Data Conference as a place for learning, innovation, and collaboration. Beyond this conference, we are also planning to support an African community of practice for African open data practitioners, and we welcome all of you to join us, and together, let us go far. Asante sana.